Good morning, guys. Welcome back to my channel. This is the long-awaited update. I have been getting so many requests for people who want to know how I'm doing on my new high protein protocol, my muscle building experiment on keto. And so I wanted to give you guys an update. Let me circle back a little bit for those of you who are new to my channel or I'm not sure what I'm talking about. So about 5 weeks ago, I changed up my macros. Now, I've been doing a high protein keto for quite a while before that, and I liked the way it felt and I liked how my body was feeling, but I kicked it up even more. I actually, about 5 weeks ago, I changed my macros so that my carbs were bumped up significantly. So maybe I'm more hitting like maybe 15% carbs. And my protein has been like 45 to 50%, and the rest is fats. What I've been doing is eating at a caloric deficit 6 days out of the week, and 1 day out of the week I'm eating at a surplus. And that is what I've been calling my refeed day. It's not a traditional refeed day. A traditional refeed day is a clean refeed where you replace fats with clean carbohydrates, but I'm not trying to like enter any fitness competitions or anything right now, so I'm not trying to be that strict. I'm just doing a refeed day, like enjoying all of my favorite foods. On that day, I'm still tracking calories, but I am eating at a surplus, and I am also, Charles wants to say hello, sorry guys. And I am also making sure I get protein, so I'm not just doing empty junk carbs and sugar all day. I'm making sure to do like a good quality burger or a burrito that has a lot of protein in it. And then desserts, I'm still having them, but I'm limiting. So like I'm still letting myself enjoy donuts, because donuts are like my vice and I absolutely love them. I'm not willing to give them up. Don't think that you have to have results, but I've been allowing myself like 2 donuts. I'll have one before my workout on cheat day and then one in the evening. Anyway, so let me give you a quick update on like my actual physique. I feel absolutely like there has been some improvement. Keep in mind, it's only been 5 weeks. I've been consistent in the gym, but haven't changed things drastically in the gym. I'm doing 4 days of weight training, about 30 minutes of weight training, and about 30 minutes of cardio every day. I am tracking my, using my Fitbit, tracking my, calories in. I've been tracking my calories burned and just making sure I'm maintaining about a 20%, 10 to 20% deficit 6 days out of the week. And then again, like I said, I do that surplus 1 day out of the week. I'll show you some pictures here. I took a before picture before I started all of this. And this is my most recent after picture. And as you can see here in the comparison, there is definitely some additional muscle that I've put on. I'm leaning out. I've got some muscle definition going on. I can definitely see changes in my body. Keep in mind, this is very early on. 5 weeks is nothing when you're talking about muscle building. And for those of you that follow me, you'll know that at the end of July, early August, I did a body scan. So I at least have a before body scan that I'm going to use to compare to my after scan. But I'm committed to giving these new macros and this new kind of slight change up in my routine until the end of December before I measure the actual progress, because change takes time, guys, especially when you are trying to put on muscle and trying to reduce body fat. It's not overnight. However, and I would say actually the first few weeks I felt fuller. I actually felt like I was getting bigger. It was mentally a little tough for me. But right around when I hit that month, I could definitely see a difference. And so once you can see that what you're doing is working, your motivation really kicks into high gear and you stop questioning it as much, so it's easier to stay on track. So I'm at that point right now, super easy to stay on track. I am thoroughly enjoying all of my food. I've been enjoying my favorite foods. I've incorporating them into my macros and making sure everything fits. I've been eating low carb bread with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I have been eating Quest chips. I've been incorporating a protein bar. So what I'm trying to do is a flexible approach, but really strict on hitting specific macros, and seeing and still incorporating my cheat day and seeing if I can achieve the results that I want by doing all of those things. So I'm really happy with where things are at right now, but I just wanted to give you guys that update. Another common question that I get is, am I still intermittent fasting? So yes, I am still intermittent fasting, not as many hours though. I find that it's difficult to get in all of that protein. I'm eating, just for reference, about 140 grams of protein per day. So in order for me to get in 140 grams of protein, I am having to start eating a little earlier. I'm probably fasting maybe 16 hours on average. But if I fast less than that, I'm not really paying much attention to it, I should say. I'm just starting to eat when I'm ready to eat, and I stop eating when I'm done hitting my macros. It just so happens that it works out to be about an 8-hour eating window. But if it's a 6-hour eating window, I'm okay with that too. I'm actually breaking it up within that window and eating more frequently. So I'm kind of, once I start eating, I'm eating like every 2 hours during my eating window. And I do feel that that's a little bit better in terms of muscle protein synthesis, is that I'm breaking up my protein a little bit, because it's a lot of protein at one time. So if you take in too much, I just don't feel like my muscles are going to adequately like benefit from all that protein if I take, 80 grams of protein at once. Jury's still out on that, but for me, it's working. And for me, I feel that I'm really happy with the results, and I feel like I can see them. Not sure if you guys can see them yet. Typically you see, with a trained eye, you can kind of start to see changes that maybe people wouldn't see. It takes sometimes people longer to see the changes in your body, because no one knows your body like you do. So I'm definitely seeing the changes. I'm not sure if you guys see the changes, but yeah, so I just wanted to give you guys that update. And comment below if you have any questions about what I'm doing, or if you need more clarification. Again, this is what works for me and where I'm at in my journey. Not everyone can jump on something like this. If you have some metabolic damage or chronic condition, or you're not quite fat adapted, you haven't done keto long enough, you're not going to want to jump right into this. So I get reluctant sometimes to share my experience, because I don't want people to try to mimic it if they're not ready to do it. And that's why you definitely should get help from someone who has experience with this and can evaluate your history and your current situation to determine what a good starting point for you is. I just wanted to get that out there, because like I said, I'm afraid that some people are just going to try my macros and they're definitely not going to work for you yet. Another question I get very, very frequently is, am I still in ketosis? And the answer is yes. The majority of the time I'm still in ketosis. My keto numbers have dropped. My ketone numbers have dropped, definitely dropped. I've increased carbs and increased protein, so definitely I'm operating with more glucose in my body. My blood sugar has remained very stable, which that's really important to me, because I want to make sure that I'm not, ramping up too much insulin in my body. Insulin leads to fat storage, leads to insulin resistance. I want to make sure I stay really insulin sensitive. So my blood sugar has become more important to me sometimes than ketones itself. My body is definitely using ketones for energy. I can feel it, although my ketone levels have dropped, and that's to be expected. I'm not taking in as much dietary fat. Dietary fat is converted first to ketones. So when you have high levels of ketones, chances are you're taking in a lot of dietary fat. And it's also an indication sometimes that your body is not really effectively utilizing those ketones, and that's why they're floating around in your blood. I don't have a lot of ketones, so my body uses them, so it keeps the levels low. But I do test frequently just to kind of see where I'm at. I'm using the, let me get that for you guys, hold on. Lately, I have been using the Keto Coach to test my ketones, and the reason for that is that I'm not reluctant to test my ketones several times a day, because they're only 59 cents a strip. It's a super, super affordable ketone testing. Highly recommend Keto Coach, because most other strips are anywhere from $1 to $3 per strip with other machines. I do have a couple of other machines. This does not test blood glucose, so I use my other machines to test blood glucose, and glucose strips are super cheap. So I also test my glucose as frequently as I need to, especially because right now I'm doing an experiment. I'm doing something really, really strategic with my body. So yeah, hopefully that lets you guys know where I'm at. Another common question I've been getting is, how's my weight? Interestingly enough, my weight, I started out a little higher than I usually am. I think I started out at like 121 pounds or so, and I'm only weighing in once a week. I don't even put a lot of emphasis into the scale. I don't really care what the scale says because I care how I feel and what my body looks like. But 1 to 2 weeks in, or 2 weeks in, I finally stepped on the scale and I was up a little bit on the scale, 123.5. Didn't freak out though, because I could see that my body was leaning out and I did feel fuller. I felt like my muscles were holding on to some water, and I'm definitely eating more carbs. So I've got more water in my body. So I was 123.5, weighed in this morning at 121. So I'm now completed 5 weeks. I'm 121. So I'm a little bit less than where I started. But again, let me put the before and after pictures up. This is when I started, and this is the most updated picture. And as you can see, even though my weight is kind of around the same, within a pound or so, I'm leaner. What that tells me is I've lost body fat and put on muscle, and that is my goal. I don't really care what the scale says. So at the end of this experiment, I hope to have lost a good amount of body fat. When I tested my body fat, I was at 26.2% body fat, and at that time I was 120.6 pounds. Again, I don't care what the scale says at the end of December, but I do want to see that 26% body fat drop. I'd like to see, 22% body fat or even 20%. That'd be excellent. That is the body fat of someone who's really athletic and fit. And so that is what I want to see. So what I've been doing that really helps me stay on track is, of course, planning out all my meals ahead of time. And then what I do at the beginning of the week is I make all of my protein sources. I've got chicken here, steak, and in here is some ground beef. I have been having 2 good yogurts every single day with berries, so I always have them ready to go. I have been having a lot of egg whites because this is a really good low-calorie way to increase your protein. And, hitting that protein it can be a challenge. So I've got egg whites that I will mix in with an egg or 2 depending on what my meal plan says. So I have everything planned out at least a day or 2 in advance as to what I'm doing, and that really has helped me stay on track. So I've been having these sugar-free jellos because when I really want a snack and I'm out of calories, this is only 10 calories, so it's kind of, it helps keep me satisfied. And as I said, I've still been having my yogurt, and I've been having that with this Stoka bar cereal, along with 1 protein bar per day. And I love these Built bars, guys. I will link them down below because if you haven't tried it, absolute best protein bar. So I have been having 1 of these a day. Again, they help me reach my macros, but for the most part, it's important. So important for me to be clear about the fact that I get my protein from whole foods majority. So as you can see, I'll do like 6 ounces of protein, at least 2 like really hearty protein meals with protein and a veggie and a healthy fat like avocado. I haven't been using a lot of oils and added fats, and the reason for that is fats are so high in calories. What would happen is I'll reach my calories and will be nowhere near my protein goal. So I have to be really careful. However, I'm still getting in a good amount of healthy fats. And I think that that's a common misconception on the ketogenic diet, is that you have to add in so much fats, oils, butters. You really don't. If you're eating some healthy fats like avocados and nuts, which I am, along with typically one of my protein sources for the day will have a good amount of fat in it. So it'll either be steak or ground beef or salmon. at the end of the day, it adds up. And I hit my, I'm hitting about 45%, 40 to 45% fats. And it's a good amount of fat. So you don't have to go crazy. And if you dial down the fat a little bit and you're in ketosis, guess what that means? That means your body is going to use your stored body fat for fuel. That's the goal, guys. That is the goal, to get yourself where you're so fat adapted, you can dial down back on the fats a little bit and force your body to use stored body fat as fuel. And that's what's happening with me. And that is why I'm seeing the fat loss and the fat kind of like melt away, literally. I think I covered all of the frequently asked questions. So if you have any other questions, comment below. I will be keeping you guys updated with vlogs and with full days of eating and all of that. I just wanted to do this quick update because I get so many questions. So thanks again for watching. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so that you're notified when I post all these vlogs and full days of eating and all this fun stuff. And we'll see you again next time.